my loves, and welcome back to my channel. It's Shar, and it's time for end of year book content. Throughout the month of December, I am aiming to post a video every other day. Keyword is aiming. Your girl has a full-time job. That may not be possible, but I'm doing my best to get that to you. Because it is the end of the year, I've been doing a lot of end of year TBRs. By this point, you all know exactly what's on my list to finish before the end of 2023. I'm reading a book a day throughout the entire month of December. So I have confidence that I will get to these books. But in today's video, I wanted to share with you the books I think you should read before the end of the year. These are some of my favorites that I think that you would really enjoy, especially if you think that you and I have similar reading tastes. So without further ado, let's jump on in. The first book that I have for you is a graphic novel, which I really love. This is Cheer Up, Love, and Pom-Poms by Crystal Fraser. This is a graphic novel following a transgender teenage girl. She is a cheerleader, and she has just been voted the captain of the cheerleading squad, and her best friend, or her former best friend, whose mom is pushing her to join the cheer team. This is very cozy and cute and so much found family, and it's just like the perfect heartwarming, cozy, happy vibe for the end of the year. And it is sapphic because these two girls fall in love with each other, which I just love. I think this is the perfect book for you to read at the end of the year for all of the heartwarming, cozy vibes. My next book is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. As you all know, I love a bad bitch, and Miss Amina Al-Sarafi is a bad bitch. So in this book, we're following Amina, and Amina is a notorious ex-pirate. She is retired, but she has a big reputation. But the thing is, no one knows who she is. They just know the pirate Al-Sarafi, and if you're not a member of her crew, you don't know who she is or that she's a woman. So these people have this terrible fear, but she's retired. She's trying to raise her daughter and live her life until one day the matriarch of a family she's very familiar comes to her and says, "My granddaughter is missing, and I will pay you any amount for you to go out and find her." And this becomes a pirate's adventure story full of romance and demons and very high fantasy and gods. It's just visually very stunning, and I highly recommend the audiobook for this. If you're looking for a little bit of a mental escape, Miss Amina Al-Sarafi can provide that to you. I can't say it enough. It is so vivid. It really feels like you're watching a movie as you're listening to or reading this book. The third book you have heard me speak about so many times. Yes, it is another sapphic romance. This book caught me completely by surprise this year, and it is Stars Collide by Rachel Lacey. Is this potentially Taylor Swift fanfiction? Maybe, but don't view it that way. I feel like fan fiction about real people gives me an ick. Instead, just view it as a story about a pop star. So in this book, we are following a mega famous pop star. She is at the top of her game. People view her as once in a lifetime, and she released an album called After Midnight, and it isn't performing very well. She's doing a Grammy performance, and her agent recommends that she teams up with this young and upcoming pop star that has a really dedicated fan base as a way to kind of just boost her, I say notoriety, just to boost her, So she agrees, and they perform together, and they actually have really great chemistry. So she invites this young pop star to be her opening act on her Stadium World Tour, and of course they fall in love. If you saw my 5-star audit, you'll know exactly why I love this book. But this book is very much about queerness and exploration of queerness, and our main character, the pop star, the mega famous pop star, coming to terms with her sexuality and realizing, you know what, she's actually a lesbian, and she's never realized that about herself and come to accept that about herself because of all of the implicit bias she held within herself, and how she falls in love with this character. And it's set in a world tour, so of course there's so much traveling with the stadium tours and the music performances and the hotels and running from paparazzi and fans, cozy cabins and escapes. It is a very immersive story, and again, it is so much fun, especially if you want something that's heartwarming, if you're wanting something that's exploring queerness, and if you're wanting something that will provide you with a bit of an escape because there's so much travel throughout the story. The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. So this book is a wild ride. It's a wild ride. I just realized that more than half of this list is sapphic. I'm not mad about it. So the writing retreat is the story of two ex-best friends. We're following our main character who gets the opportunity to go to this writing retreat with this very well-known and notorious feminist horror novelist. And she goes with a group of other women. She doesn't know who they are, but one is her ex-best friend. You never know what happens with her ex-best friend, but you can be assured that it creates a lot of tension within the household, as does the host of this writing retreat, our feminist horror novelist, Rosa. Rosa is unhinged, and they are isolated. They're trapped in a snowstorm and shit hits the fan. NaNoWriMo, but like make it murder. That's what this is, and it's sapphic. And I don't think this book is for everyone, but I think if you think we have similar reading taste and you're down for the idea of a sapphic, murderous NaNoWriMo that's absolutely unhinged, go for this book, because it's going to give you all of that. It's a fun time. Don't take it seriously. If you try to take it seriously, you will hate it. Go in for the fun times. And the final official book on this list is the Jad Air by Sarah Hashem. This is such a good fantasy book. I feel like fantasy is hard to navigate because every once in a while I'll get to a fantasy where I'm like, do I really like fantasy? And then there's times when I read books like this and I'm like, yeah, I do like fantasy. This is technically a romantasy, but in this book we are following our main girl, Sylvia. And Sylvia is trying to live a normal life as much as she can, because she lives in a world where the Jad people are being hunted and executed. There was this massive war against the Jad kingdom, a kingdom that holds magic, and the entire people were killed and slaughtered, and anyone who escaped is also being killed. Now, Sylvia is not only Jad and trying to hide it, she is the Jad Air. She is the princess of this kingdom, and she ends up running into the prince of the kingdom that attacked her people. He knows right away that she's Jad, and he forces her to participate in magical trials to become the champion of his kingdom under the ruse, because he is trying to draw out Jad rebellion groups who are trying to advocate for themselves and the people who are being executed. And Sylvia's like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. But she's warring with herself, because obviously these are her people and she has a lot of feelings about what is happening. It's a romantasy between Sylvia and this person. If you're the kind of person that's like, I have a problem with enemies to lover because it's usually just dislike, they're enemies. They are enemies. These two people have every ability in the world, every right in the world to hate each other. Sylvia hates this man, and with good reason. You cannot tell me these two are not enemies. It's a very slow burn love story on that end, but what I love is the character exploration of Sylvia herself and how she is navigating this very complex situation. I gave this book 4 stars, and I think that if you're in the mood for like an accessible fantasy, something with good world building that isn't going to feel too laborious to read, check out the Jad Air. And so besties, that brings us to the end of this super quick video. These are the books that I recommend that you check out for the end of the year. Let me know if you try any of these books, if you pick them up, and also let me know what you are prioritizing for these final few weeks of 2023, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye!